Hi guys, today we're making squishy number 5. And like with squishy number 1, we're starting with a big piece of foam, and this is like memory foam, which we're going to chop up into 16 pieces. So these blocks were 4 inches by 4 inches. Now because we were cutting them at home, they're not perfectly sized, so you'll see now how we smooth them out. And now here are the squishy blocks. I've got the same tools as last time, some nail art pens and some wooden spatulas to spread the 3D puffy paint. I've also got this set which has a mixture of 3D puffy colours. Now when I bought this, I had absolutely no idea how much puffy paint you need. So I'm going to show you this set anyway, because I think it's quite a nice one if you're making smaller cubes. It's got lots of bright colours in it, and you also get some brushes included too. And they come in squeezy bottles, so you can do some nice designs, do some writing, things like that, like you can when you get tulip paints. I think I paid about £15 for all these colours, so it's not bad value, because a tulip puffy paint, a small bottle, is usually about £2 just for one. Okay guys, here's my 5 squishy blocks that I'm going to use, and I tried to pick ones that were the most similar in size. So now that I've chosen them, I'm going to line them up. And I'm going to get painting, because I know that these sponges are super absorbent. We're going to need lots and lots of paint. So I'm going to start by doing the first layer with acrylic paint mixed in with something else, because it's just going to soak up so much paint. And I'm using fabric medium, because if you mix acrylic paint with fabric medium, it keeps it soft. And here I am in my big cup. I'm just going to squeeze the whole lot in, because I know it's just going to suck up all the paint. There you go. There's the blue paint. Then I'm going to squeeze in some of the fabric medium, which should keep it nice and squishy. It'll also make it a little bit paler, but not too much. I'm not worried about that. So I'm mixing it with a wooden spatula. And a bit more. And a bit more. This is our first coat, so it doesn't have to be the perfect shade yet. And I'm just spreading this on. This is actually quite relaxing to do when you're spreading. You're pushing it into the spongy bits. And I've got a lot of sides to do, and I know this is going to take days and days to dry, so you can just watch me do this now. It's like buttering a sandwich. I think if you were making like 1,000 sandwiches, this is what it would feel like. So I've written on there number 5, so I could remember which block was which and which order is going in. Now the reason why I put some of the white on this side, I think it was to get it a little bit even, and also I think this is the side that I know that you're not going to see, that's going to be stuck to something else. Now it's time for super speed foam painting. We're mixing up some more paint, more of that blue acrylic paint, which is quite cheap. It was about £1 for a big tube. I'm mixing in some white, titanium white paint, and then I'm going to add some of this tulip slick, which is a beautiful fluorescent blue. But we're not doing too much of that because it's really expensive. So we're not going to do bottles and bottles of that. Okay, we're just going to add some in. And I'm going to add some more fabric medium. This was a big 1 litre bottle, which is pretty good. But I did end up using pretty much all of it. Mixing again. Why didn't I use a bigger bowl? I don't know why, but I should have. Give another good mix. And this to me is a really, really great shade. I think this is like the proper number 5 shade. So I'm going to do a top coat of this. This is my 3rd coat, by the way. I'd already done 2 layers of the other shade of blue, which is why I'm now doing the final layer in this beautiful blue. And making it a little bit thicker. Some of the bits need smoothing out a bit more, like this side is a bit rougher. So I'm doing that, and I'm hoping that I will have enough to cover all the surfaces. I've got gloves on because at this point my hands are just covered in paint all the time. And then when it's dry, we're going to stick the pieces together. Mr. Super Toys Universe's arm. That's not my arm. My arm is not that hairy. And we're just using fabric glue, which works really well if you spread it all over the surface. Now usually you can use something like an elastic band to hold it together. We can't because this is too big. So actually using a spray adhesive, which works really, really well, guys. This was just from quite like a bargain store and it works really well. But you do have to hold it like how Mr. Super Toys Universe is to get it to stay in place. And then at the top you want to put some weight on it so that it stays. And thinking about it now, we could have done this in a different configuration, but we did it in the tall configuration, so which makes it a bit more unstable, but it's okay, you know. So using more of this glue, it really soaks it up, but it's up to you. You can use this or you can use a fabric glue, which is more like a creamy texture, but the spray one does work really well. And finally pressing on the top piece. And now my favourite bit, which is adding the details. So using a puffy paint in a dark blue, I'm just going to trace over the face of Numberblock 5, which is doing the star in his eye. Then using white puffy paint, I'm going to do the rest of his eye. I'm going to use a bit of the black puffy paint. and some pink for the mouth. Now I'm going to use the blue to fill in any of the cracks going around the side between the blocks because they're not perfectly cut. And finally we've finished, and it's finally dry as well. It took quite a few days to dry. Let's give it a squish. Now listen guys, I squished this probably a good week or two after it was made, so it's not as squishy as it first was, but it does still, you see, it does still work, and it has so many layers of paint on it that it's a very firm toy. I think you could use it as a weapon actually. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and we'll see you again next time. Goodbye.